Welcome to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. We have a lot to cover on today's program, and always here on Wednesday, I like to have my good friend Jason Arcemont on. He's with a great company called Brightbox Online, and you can learn more about them at brightboxonline.com. It's an extraordinary marketing company that has a big impression not only here in Houston, the fastest growing company of its type in the great city of Houston, but also well known around the country. Jason, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Glad to have you on. Now, you got an interesting guest for us. One of the reasons why we like to get you on is not only talking about branding and marketing, but some of the people you get to meet in the world of business you operate in. Tell us about your guest today.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and introduce him. Tom Cheatum is with a company by the name of Versabar. Tom's been a longstanding client of ours, and really just been kind of fascinated with what Versabar is doing over there, the engineering marvels. They've been featured all over the world in different publications, different trade publications. And Tom, we appreciate you coming on the show.
No problem, Jason. Good to be with you guys this morning.
Glad to have you on. Real quickly, kind of just give us your elevator speech, Tom.
Well, Versabar is an engineering firm that specializes in offshore heavy lift projects, lifting, pulling, any sort of projects all over the world. Been company since 1981. We have engineered over 75,000 successful lifts, and consistently work in the Gulf of Mexico and around the globe.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, Tom, you guys are really a power player in your industry, and one of the things I'd love to hear about is a little bit on, from your sales approach. Tom, for those of you guys listening, is kind of a sales guru, and I've always enjoyed our lunch conversations and learning about his approach. Tom, can you maybe fill us in a little bit on why you think you guys have been able to grow and succeed? Is it just engineering, or do you have some sales magic behind you?
Well, it's always easy to sell new, exciting technology, and Versabar has always been a company that has taken kind of basic concepts and built new technology around them to reach out and solve those challenges that are brought by the operators of the offshore industry. We've grown a reputation where they bring the unusual and the unlikely type of challenges to us to help them solve. So that's just kind of being in the right spot at the right time after Hurricane Katrina. There was a big press on the resources, and it was a kind of a catalyst for the developing and the acceptance of our new technology in the Gulf, and that's when Versabar really exploded.
Mm-hmm. How old is the company?
31 years old.
Wow, awesome. Go ahead, Jason.
Now, when we talk about some of the lifting projects, can you maybe describe, I know you've got some great dimensions. I think most people don't realize the type of engineering and mechanical machinery that goes into pulling some of these, literally pulling entire rigs off the ocean floor. Maybe tell us a little bit about that, Tom.
After Hurricane Katrina, Rita, Ike, the offshore platforms were knocked off of their jackets, the supporting structures, by the wave action and actually put on the Gulf floor in anywhere from 150 feet to 450 feet of water. And we had in the funnel, so to speak, our system that we referred to in-house as the bottom feeder, which was an offshore truss system to pick up these platforms in one piece, as opposed to the traditional method, which would be cutting them up in small pieces, which required divers being exposed to long periods of hazardous activity underwater and cutting them into small pieces and bringing them up. We would pick them up and bring them up in one piece.
Yeah. Are most of these things reusable?
No, they're not.
Yeah.
They're, twisted hunks of steel, and when we bring them up, they're put on a barge and taken to a salvage yard and salvaged.
Okay, interesting. Jason?
Now, I know you guys have really dominated oil and gas since the hurricanes with all the oil and gas. Is that pretty much all that you guys do, or rigs, or are there other special projects that you guys work on?
Well, We do what we call integrated lifting management, where, for example, a refinery expansion, where they'll be doing virtually hundreds of lifts on site, and we will do all the lift planning, all the lift engineering, and supply all the rigging for the lifting on these projects. Really allows, it's a critical path type of involvement where you may help the client maintain their schedule and be prepared for these lifts, because you're moving across a hot refinery. Everything is all stop, and so you must maintain the schedule so that the shutdowns, startbacks, all are maintained on a schedule.
Right. And Tom, so when some people, our listeners, we have a lot of business owners, they look at what you guys are doing now with the bottom feeder, and you've got a parent feeder now that you guys have done. Is that where you guys started in business, or did it start simpler than that, and you guys have kind of grown through kind of developing into this fuller range of lift support?
It started with the patenting of a reusable spreader bar by the owner of the company, John Cacciatarian. John was working for an engineering firm and saw that they would build spreader bars, which is part of the rigging system, to help maintain the angles and vertical lines of rigging. And they would build a bar for a lift, and they would never use it again because it had to be a special length, it had to be a special load rating. And so John thought this was a huge waste of money and built a reusable spreader bar. That's what started the business 30 years ago.
Yeah, and how long have you been with the company? And what is your exact role with the company?
I've been with the company 9 years, and I'm the director of sales and marketing for the company.
Very cool, very cool. Jason?
Yeah, I think it's fascinating that, so many times as business owners, we look at other companies that have this large footprint, and we just, we're amazed at how they could have gotten started. Where are you open to sharing where revenue started with you guys and where you guys have grown to, Tom, or maybe in size of employee rate?
Well, as I mentioned, Hurricane Katrina was kind of a watershed moment for us.
Right.
Prior to Hurricane Katrina, we were primarily a New Orleans-based company, about 150 employees, gross revenue of around $45-50 million a year, and had a small 15-person facility over here in Houston. The storm drove us all over here. There was a press for our services, and now we run revenue over $250 million, about 750 employees.
Wow. And, that's fascinating that you guys have been able to hang on to that, find additional market. So many companies saw that surge during the hurricane season, and they've, overinvested and they've crashed afterwards. So that's amazing that you guys have been able to hang on.
I love you guys' use of words. You had surges over here, and you had watershed moments. It's like, man, this is incredible. I don't know if you're doing it on purpose, but we got puns running amok here when it comes to this issue. So 2013 rather, is being called potentially one of the biggest years for these type of storms. I guess you're mindful of that.
Well, certainly though the market has shifted now from the salvage of these platforms, that sort of working campaign is pretty well completed. Now the marketplace has turned towards decommissioning, where these oil platforms are coming out of service, and they must be taken out. This infrastructure must be taken out. And so that's much of the work that we do now is decommissioning of these platforms and the structures that they sit on.
Yeah, very good. All right. Again, thanks for being with us. Enjoyed this conversation. The name of the company there, I got vbar.com, but the actual name of the company is VersaBar. Our guest today, great guest, by the way, and I love talking to people who have sales savvy, Tom Cheatum, and of course, and that website over there, VBAR.com. And, of course, Jason Arcemont, he's here, either him or his cohort, Patrick, every Wednesday talking about some of the more innovative things happening in business today. And Jason's company is brightboxonline.com. That's brightboxonline.com. Thanks to both of you gentlemen.
You bet. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
All right. When we come back, more for you. Do want to remind you best content here. It shows up over there at usadailyReview.com. And this is The Price of Business.